I'm proud to represent All In magazine.
Going all in.
I'm really excited for All In to be back.
It was the bluff of my career.
I think for sure poker's making a big comeback.
I think you're going to see a poker explosion like never before.
Check out allinmag.com.
We're going global. Watch for it.
Man, it was the best magazine then, and it probably will be now.
The All In magazine is here with Vanessa Selbst at the World Series of Poker main event.
Last year I made a deep run, and I guess I had a pretty fun hand against Ben Lamb because it was like on TV and everybody saw it, so I remember that one pretty clearly where I bet and he raised the river with a flush and the board was paired and I re-raised as a bluff and he folded a flush, so that was a really fun hand. It's cool, you know, to go deep and to see some of the hands, like to see the coverage on TV and stuff like that, so that was a pretty fun memory. On maybe some of the televised cash games or something like that where I didn't necessarily know what someone had and then I was like, oh, pretty surprised. But most of the time I'm not really, I kind of play day to day and I'm not really up at night stressing about whether or not I made a good fold. There's a lot of hands that stand out as the greatest bluff I've ever tried to pull off. But I've been unsuccessful a lot of times too. The hand that I talked about with Ben was a pretty cool bluff that I pulled. You know, I think there was a hand in a tournament where I re-raised and then he 4-bet and I called and the board, I think I had ace-queen and it was day 3 of a tournament and the flop came 10-9-8 and he check-called and then the turn was a 7 and he checked and I thought he had kings exactly, so I shoved, but I pull a lot of crazy stuff all the time. It's just my style, you know, I play a lot of high variance poker, so it's hard to narrow it down, I guess. Actually, the very first final table, the very first tournament that I ever played, or maybe the second one, I don't know, it was in 2006. It was a World Series of Poker $2,000 no limit prelim, and it was on TV, and I was just playing crazy because it was before the days that people were 3-betting light, and it worked out really well. I mean, I would just 3-bet, and they would be like, oh, she must have aces or kings, and they would just fold. So I was playing absolutely insane. I race.
Jeez, ATC line, any 2 cards, and these young whippersnappers are willing to rock and roll.
And I just remember it was 7-handed, it was $800,000 for first place, and I was second in chips. I raised another gun, cut off called. He looked like he wanted to fold to the squeeze, he looked like he hated his life. And the big blind was a player who I'd played with a lot before online, and I thought he was very capable, so he squeezed. And I went all in with 5 deuce suited, and he actually had aces in the big blind, so it didn't work out so well.
What was she thinking?
So ever since then, it was funny because since, you know, people didn't really understand the play back then, and they just thought I was the craziest, dumbest person ever. And since then, people have started making kinds of similar plays and started to make more sense. But it was definitely a little bit crazy of a play, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's cool, All In magazine's coming back and a lot of other, you know, you're just seeing a lot more hype around poker in general, and it really shows a revival. I think Black Friday was a very big hit to the community, a very big hit to the industry. And over the last couple of years, the fact that the industry is not only surviving, it's thriving. And, you know, magazines are coming back and there's lots going on, I think is a really great sign.